Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Wuthering Waves reaction. Today we have Dasvidaniya. I didn't know that this song was related to the other one, and apparently this one comes first. So people in the comments of the last video obviously clarified that to me, so I have re-listened to the other one so I can at least see where this one goes. Like by the end of this one, I'll be able to hopefully connect it to the next one, and that's basically it. But as a little bit of an update for my Wuthering Waves playing, I have been playing. I did get Rebecca for 3.4, so there's that update, and I have been doing just a little bit of daily in between there on top of the other games that I've been covering, so I haven't abandoned it. We will be back around. I've just been doing that in my own time, so I guess without further ado, let's go!
Broken wings falling in the snow.
I can already hear how that would connect.
Shimmer as they float. Melodies flowing through my mind.
I love the inspiration of that traditional Russian sound here. Little waltzy.
Falling from the sky. Silver tears hanging from my eyes. Stars align, drifting through the empty as I dance with the ghost of goodbye.
It's not the same vocalist, is it? Sounds kind of close. It might be. I love the movement of the background vocals. Kind of going around between the ears. Is it gonna stay this calm? I feel like it might, given that the second song is so aggressive. It might kick up a little bit. Oh! There it is. I felt like that tone jump might be a little too much between this and that. If it didn't have something between. This is a nice middle ground. Oh! Hello, Crywolf. Blending the voice. Wait a minute, would this be Crywolf's voice then with like a filter on it? That might be the case. I'm kind of stuck between, like, would that be Crywolf's voice all the way through, or did he just, like, have another vocalist come in for just that little bit and then threw his own voice in for the chorus? You know, because, like, there are some really good filters out there these days, so I wouldn't really be surprised if that was just him throwing on some filters and stuff in order to hide some artifacting. That's getting too nerdy, though. I gotta get into that later. I love Crywolf's sound so much, because like I mentioned during the reaction, if I didn't hear this first, which I didn't, the second song stands on its own. But hearing this, I'm like, oh yeah, that totally follows the same like storyline. It's very thematically similar, albeit, again, like I mentioned, this song would have lost me if it didn't build up to something. And of course, Crywolf is not going to disappoint in that. Like, the build-up that Crywolf has, usually this sort of like lift into a hold, a sustain, a suspense of some sort, and then it just drops into basically a different genre, and sometimes I think a different key. I don't think that happened with this song necessarily. It might have, because there was an aggressive shift there, and we do hit entirely different chords, but it's just the quality of how Crywolf writes. I love the sound of it. Every single time he's just like, oh yeah, I've got an idea. It's like, damn, bro. It nails it every single time. This song is really fun for multiple reasons, and for that, I decided I wanted to do something a little bit different, so we got a little bit of a kind of a music box sound going on for today's video. And purely I wanted to do this because, one, I love this sound, but two, it makes it easier to hear what's going on here and easier to explain thematically in the style of this song why things work the way they do for music boxes, because that's a sound I love, and I have one song that I've ever written really that is a music box theme. And as such, I just love hearing stuff from it because it's something that I stumbled into a while ago and is just something I never really got rid of. I enjoy this sound so much. So here we are in C minor. So we have the chord there, as you can tell. This is the thing right here, by the way, for the waltz and the general feel of a music box. That sort of bounce within the triad is very much there. You keep the root note and you bounce on the other two. It makes everything easier to follow. So that's kind of what happens and what mostly I'll be doing while explaining to you what the chord progression is. So what we basically have going on here is C minor, B flat, G minor, C minor, E flat, F minor, A flat, G minor, C. And we go back to, well, C minor. So we go back to that root there. And I especially love that fall from the A flat to the G minor to the C minor, because if you take this in the more direct approach, you would get like, and just hang it on there. You can't really separate it up here because that doesn't feel right. It kind of lifts in its own way, the same way that the lower one just drops it back down, but just being left alone there creates that feeling of isolation that I really love here, especially the fact that the song kind of ends with the whole chords compared to that little bounciness that we were getting for the rest of it. That's just a quality I've always enjoyed about music box in general. It's just a thing. And that whole waltz bounce is something I've always adored about this in general. It just sounds so cool to me. I love the 3/4 feel anyway, but especially with music boxes, it's just, oh, it's so pretty. It's effortlessly pretty. It's so good. I love it. Anyway, so this song kind of bounces around that. That's the overall chord progression and why I like it. But this song does so much more when we get to that part where it changes things up, and I'm going to keep it on the music box sound, even though it kind of does go away or at least get nestled way, way back in the song. So what we have going on for that transition is a really fun set of chords as well. We kind of get this G sus4, which is holding on to that C there, and it settles into the G, as they almost always do for a sus4 to a major, and we just kind of use that to build into D minor. Where the hell is this coming from, you know? Because around the time we get that G sus4 into the G, and then we heavy, like, shift change down into the D minor here, that's where I think that we get the key change, quote unquote. I'm still not positive if it's a key change there, but it would make a lot of sense. This chord progression changes up drastically in order to adjust for that vibe, because of course you would need to when you want something to sink a little bit deeper, and they definitely did. It went from this like more melancholic, softer sound to something that's a lot more sinister and just broken, and that works again very well for the whole music box aesthetic of this sound. We have a D minor that goes into a D flat diminished. That alone is already gnarly because we got that, and then like that just keeping is the start of something spooky already. So like that alone creates this atmosphere of, oh no, oh shit, things are going wrong. And that's not a relationship we had up to this point. That's where that shift comes in really hard. And the next chord we get to is an A, which is weird in its own right because we come from that D minor to that D flat diminished, and now we're sinking even deeper. You can feel how that just roots even deeper, and we still have that D flat in there, so it just really sets itself in very nicely to the progression. But that's also a new chord, so we have something that's changing something else from the very beginning of the song, because we had that A flat there, and now we're doing this A. So like it's changing it up entirely, and I think they even might be doing kind of an A seventh, which would kind of root it up there into that G as well, which makes it even cooler to hear because that's just adding this extra detail to the chords to be able to keep it together. Like, again, we're not doing the music box thing so much at this point, so the chord progression gets a little bit more complex and the chords involved get a little bit more complex with like the sevens in there. And from there, honestly, we keep largely the same chord progressions and like the same chords included for the rest of the song. We actually do revisit basically everything from the first part of the song with just those couple ones changed. So this whole like D minor to the D flat is really what makes this sound really just go off the rails and change the entire energy of the track. Not to mention the general tonal change and all the instruments being added and things changing out, the music box basically being tossed out the window in favor of all this new information in order to add this extra density that we need for this sort of an emotional kick. And this is why I like Crywolf so much, because he's just such a master of that atmosphere, of changing things up and just really slapping you in the face with something that is well within the tonal expectation of where the song came from and where it's going to makes sense. But he makes such drastic changes that fit within it that it makes you go, oh shit, like every time. And he's so good at that. And the lyricism as well, just always, I think Cxssidy helped out with this one as well. Another phenomenal set of lyrics for this song. Obviously just really setting up the story for what I learned in the second song already. So like it all works out. This definitely feels like a prequel to that one because that's how I heard them. It's just that when Crywolf touches a song, it turns to gold. I think very grungy gold, very filthy gold, but very, very good gold nonetheless. You could still sell it for the same price. And that's why he's so good at what he does. This atmospheric work is absolutely his bread and butter. And he's always done that fantastically. In every single game he's done anything on and all of his like personal work, he's done such an amazing job at setting those expectations and just beating them over the head. It's just like, oh, okay, I thought we were doing something else. Nope, this is a Crywolf song. I'm gonna do something else. But at the same time, you never feel betrayed by what he does or where he goes. And getting that sort of mood in a song about a character that is basically going insane is the ideal, you know? It's the perfect way to write a song for a character like this, to have these themes reflect a character that's losing their shit. You start soft, you start to internal and melancholic to a degree, sad because there's something already starting to go wrong there from the beginning, but you never know exactly how far that's going to go and how much we're going to slip into that insanity. And then he does that. And through the second song, it gets worse and more aggressive. And it goes from being this sad song to being something that is no longer pitiful, but fearful. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's terrifying. And these are things that most musicians can barely dream to be able to manage so fluidly like he does. It's insane. I don't know how else to explain how good this is other than because I have my bias of music boxes and having that aesthetic in there, but also where this song goes and knowing where the story kind of ends, at least as far as the music goes. This is doing some insane work. And I can't do anything more than just fucking glaze what he's doing all the time, because I haven't heard a bad song from Crywolf yet. There's always amazing atmosphere. There's always an amazing story, an amazing tonal journey that we're going through. He plays with the stereo sound a lot, moves things between your ears, and doesn't let you really get settled anywhere. You can't feel comfortable on either side of your head at any time. And this song is no different with how he was moving things around in that stereo space. There's just so much movement. It feels slimy almost in a very weird but like consistently stable way. I don't know how to explain how he manages to feel like he's writing the most insane shit, something that is supposed to and is reflecting a character that is so unhinged, but at the same time makes it feel purposeful. It's like a true psychosis. It is a psychopath theme. You know, this is the theme of a character that was at one point redeemable, at one point had a chance, not any fucking more. And it's as simple as that. And that's kind of where we are now. I still don't know entirely what Daniya's story is. Some people said I was kind of close with my guesses last time, and I'm kind of feeding into that to try and build on my thoughts with this knowledge. But this basically just gave me the preface of the character and where she came from. And then that song I already had the information of how poorly things ended up working out and how far she slipped off the cliff, because bitch crazy. But at the same time, I don't know if that was ever redeemed or not. That very well could be the case. Regardless, this is some insane work. Crywolf did it again. Cxssidy, amazing help on the lyricism for this one. Fantastic work as always. And I'm still not positive about the vocal thing. I still don't know if that's actually Crywolf's voice or if maybe he had Cxssidy do it and then just, of course, you know, whatever filters maybe made her sound a little bit younger. Just maybe she did that herself, just kind of chipmunked her own voice and sang through that. Happens a lot. People go for that aesthetic all the time, and it would make sense for this. It just didn't feel exactly like the last vocalist did, so I'm not expecting it to be the same, but it could have been, you know? The thing that's getting me about that is that I did check the credits for this, and it said the vocalist is Crywolf and not Cxssidy, so I'm assuming it wasn't, and it is just him doing his thing, bunch of filters on maybe, but potentially had the other vocalist record something separately and then used it in this, almost like a sample of sorts, which would not shock me either. That would totally make sense. But regardless, fan-fucking-tastic work. I need to talk to Crywolf at some point. I meant to do that forever ago, and it needs to happen. So maybe that'll happen, but obviously that'll be up to him. We shall see. Either way, thank you all so very much for watching. If you have another song you want me to get to, I know that the Cyberpunk stuff is obviously out right now, so if you have something from that that's original, if it's from the soundtrack of the anime, I have already heard it. I watched that shit when it was airing, so like don't even try. But if there is something new from that soundtrack and I just haven't picked up on it, let me know and I will get to it. Otherwise, let me know about anything else you want me to get to from Wuthering Waves or anything else, really. If you want me to get to whatever, drop it in the comments and I will do my best as always to get to that. Or if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I'll see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!